like we got a divisional rematch. New England goes to Buffalo. We saw both of those teams, we saw them play each other twice down the stretch here. We had that windstorm, weird Monday night game where the Patriots eked out the win. Buffalo came back and got the big win in New England after that. The Bills are 4-point favorites at home here, total at 44 points. Buffalo, big Super Bowl hope for the season. New England wasn't necessarily expected to get here, but this is a division matchup. Anything goes. What do you think about Buffalo or New England
I
here?
have to laugh because you said this might be a better game, and I have to beg to differ because we're looking at some bad weather, and obviously there's not a ton of wind in this matchup like we saw in that Monday night matchup, but we're looking at about a high of 7 degrees and a low of -2. So I don't know if that's conducive for a great game. And look, last time these two teams played, Josh Allen, he was dominant. Threw for 314 yards, 3 touchdowns. He scrambled for 64 yards, and he was able to go out there and just and beat this Patriots team. But I think Belichick is going to have something up his sleeve in this matchup. Obviously, you got to deal with Stephon Diggs, and you got to deal with Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders. But it's just look, I mean, Belichick, it's tough to count him out. But for me, I think this reeks of a lower scoring game. It's like when you look at these low temperature games, typically you just don't have guys slinging the ball around at will. So I mean, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree with you. Definitely, if you are, not to call you a casual, I'm not. If you're a casual fan, I think the earlier game will be better. It's going to be a higher scoring game. We're going to get points back and forth. If you're just a die-hard playoff football baby, that's where I feel like Saturday night's going to be good. Because I think it's going to be close all the way. I think it's going to be low scoring, run the ball, smash mouth. Like if you thought that first Monday night game was a fun, good football game, you'll think this is a good, fun football game. I thought that was good. I enjoyed watching it. But yeah, the weather, I agree. The weather is a factor that helps New England here. The weather always helps the underdog in almost every case because it limits the scoring. You're limiting that those big plays, those passing down the field. We already know both these teams are defense first teams. The Bills defense have been awesome all year. The Patriots have had some ups and downs, but been mostly very strong all year. The last time that these guys played, the defense wasn't as strong. There were, I think, something like 8 or 9 drives of 9+ plays with these long drives keeping the ball. With bad weather, with cold weather, you got to run the ball more. And that favors New England for sure. Buffalo's pass defense, awesome. And I'm not excited about Mac Jones passing into it. 5 interceptions the last 4 games, under 60% completion. But if the run game is a bigger factor here, Damian Harris had over 100 yards both games against Buffalo. Buffalo's run defense is beatable. And I trust New England's run defense better. A thing you like about New England here and just in the playoffs in general, they finished the season top 10 DVOA run offense, pass offense, run defense, and pass defense. They're not awesome at anything, but they're good at everything. And in the playoffs with Bill Belichick, that makes you so dangerous because you can bend the matchup, you can find that one weak spot and really attack it. And the Bills' weaker spot is running the ball and defending the run. And the weather sets up the Patriots to do that really well, I think.
Yeah, without a doubt. I just the one concern that you have to have is Mac Jones, and I think you mentioned that. It's
Yeah.
just he hasn't been playing well, and not only has he not been playing well, it's like if you go back, if you look at his numbers over the last couple of weeks, I think he's 23rd in completion over expectation, 16th in EPA per dropback. So he's not a guy that I think Belichick is just going to go balls to the wall with like he's Tom Brady. So I'm thinking that you're going to get a more conservative game plan from this team, and the defense knows they're going to have to step up against Josh Allen. So to me, I mean, when you look at this weather, there's going to be opposing views on this game because we saw how Josh Allen was super successful in their last matchup, and 44 is a low total. But to me, I tend to lean towards the under in this matchup. If I had to pick anything, I think we're just going to see a lower scoring game. Honestly, I think the play is the first half under
Hmm.
There's some 22s in the market, 22 and a half. I think at Sugar House, I think that's what I would go with because I think Belichick knows that we gotta try to we gotta come into this game a little bit more conservative. We don't want to throw Mac Jones out there and then make a mistake. So I'm looking first half under.
Yeah, I like that play. I lean under as well here. I think it's going to be low scoring. It's going to be close. And the longer it's low scoring, the longer it's close, the more pressure that goes on the home team. The Bills had the higher expectations. The Patriots are playing with house money at this point, and Bill Belichick really is a good coach, obviously everywhere, but especially as an underdog in the regular season. 30, 15, and 2 against the spread as an underdog for Belichick. 67% cover, and that's by 6 points a game. So we've seen it this year. We talked about it with Belichick in some of these marquee games against these high flying offenses. He just knows how to grind everything down, and the cold weather helps that, and the playoff atmosphere helps that. Belichick is 61% cover rate against the Bills lifetime, 32-11 straight up. We just talked about short road dogs. That's been a trend all season. That's a trend in the wild card around 67%. I like a couple of props here. I like Damien Harris. You can get him at a few books. You can get him to go for like 80 yards plus 240, 100 yards plus 520. I love my alternate overs. So, he had 111 and 103 yards in his 2 games against the Bills this year. And he had 4 other games at 80 plus too. So I think he could have a big game grinding it out. Josh Allen, over 39.5 rushing yards. I like that one too. I might look for an alternate. He had 64, like you said, last game. And if the Bills do win, I think Allen's legs will be a big part of it. A key matchup here is the Patriots love to play zone usually, but last game they played a ton of man. It worked very well stopping the pass. The problem is there's nobody left to stop Josh Allen from running, and that's why Allen really did some damage last time. So that'll be an interesting chess matchup do they go back to the zone where they can hold Allen back a little better, or do they go in man where they cover better? And Diggs is a big deal too, just because he's so good that way. So my angle is those 2 props. The other one I like is this. I think the right angle is Patriots to win here. You can get the Patriots to win by 1 to 6 points at plus 430. New England's not going to blow them out here, I don't think. We're expecting a low scoring thing. We're expecting maybe a field goal win or something like that. Maybe the Pats win by 7, depending on how things go. Josh Allen to make a mistake, always a risk there. But a Pats win 6 points or less, plus 430. I think you're going to really get a price on that number, considering all what we're saying of this cold weather, low scoring game. And, we'll talk about this a bit later too. I think if you like the Patriots here, I think you look at their AFC odds or Super Bowl odds too, because the path is much better for New England the way it opens up. Chance to play Tennessee in all likelihood next week. We've talked all year about how they are a beatable team. Belichick against Vrabel. So I like the Pats here. I don't love them. It's going to be a very good, close game. Good if you're a diehard fan, but I like the Pats to win a close one, maybe.
Yeah, I'm personally not touching the side, but I'm not mad at it.